What's up, everybody? Wanted to show everyone some finished 3D projects that I have been working on. You'll see the trees in the background, but first I wanted to show another brick roller pen. This particular file came from High School Creations, and this is the gray center block rolling pin. I want to make the other one, but there were no supports on this. I did do, I think it was like 40 to 45% infill. I wanted this to be really solid because I'm going to be putting a lot of pressure on it. This is the third rolling pin I've made, the first by his design. I have yet to use it in any foam. I'm looking forward to trying that. The filament that I used, I wasn't too happy with, but the actual project came out real well. This is the top of it. That is the bottom. The bottom's rough where I had it on a raft. I am just terrible at leveling a 3D bed. And then the middle is that right there. So I want to get like a pipe or something to put in there and treat it like a rolling pin. Kind of put some pressure down. But I absolutely love the texture that's inside of each brick. So it is a little rough on some of the lines right there. I don't know if you can see too well. But again, this is not meant to be pretty. It's going to be a tool to make dioramas. But my family was very impressed with it. And they said these look like some real nice pillars or columns. And they're absolutely right. These could work as some columns in the background of some pictures. So yeah, we got this rolling pin. So looking forward to trying that out and some home insulation foam. And that's that. Now, the trees right here were originally red in color because that's the filament that I used. A lot of people that 3D print stuff for their dioramas and such, they'll print it in the color they want it. For instance, a brown filament to do these trees. I find a filament that I like or don't like, and I usually repaint all of them. So it doesn't matter what color. And plus, I'm trying to learn how to use some washes. Speaking of which, let me grab this right here to show you the type of wash that I have been using for some of these projects. All right, so we got Buzzard in the background, and we got the HasLab his tank. I just kind of have that there to show some comparison. These STLs came from Landspeeder Luke's Patreon account. He uploads at a very high rate of different files and diorama type materials. A lot of them are mainly Star Wars. Almost all of them are mainly Star Wars. But you can incorporate a lot of it in other franchises like trees and such. But the trees were originally red in color on some previous videos and pictures I've posted in the past. And with life just going on, I just never got around to painting it. So before we grab those, the first coat of paint that I put on there was this Rust-Oleum. And this is a paint and primer mix, so it works out great. And this was the Satin Espresso color. So I painted those that color. I painted them all that color. And it was like a real deep chocolate. And I'll get a close-up here shortly. However, you can see a little bit of the light texture. I didn't like them so dark because after I put the wash on those, you couldn't really see the wash that well. And they were just too deep in color. So what we did was we went and picked up this Rust-Oleum color. And this is a Nutmeg Satin. And I didn't go fully engulfed on it. I just kind of hit it in different angles and such because I still wanted the base color to show up. And then I hit it with the wash. So the wash that I used on all of these trees was this right here, the Citadel Shade. And I'm still learning how to use these different washes. It's a lot of trial and error. I do note that when people make a homemade wash, they use like soap detergent to help it kind of flow. But I don't know the ratios, and I don't know. I've watched a couple of videos, and I don't recall what the ratios were. So I've been just buying like these types, and I want to go back and find some of them older videos to learn more about washing, because it is very cool how it really brings out details and makes the objects or figures pop when you put it in there. Now the trees, and this is getting into a little bit of 3D printing, and I'm still learning that whole lifestyle, but the tree is an object, and when you're slicing it, you can change the diameter, the length, you can just kind of change it any way you want to. That's why you see so many different varieties. I changed the height, the width, and just played around with it. But let's take a look at some of the darker colored ones, and you'll see the 3D print lines. Again, I'm not an expert at this printing. I do it mainly for fun, but if you look closely, you can see some of the print lines. I don't want to use like a filler primer or a Bondo type primer, because I don't want to lose the texture of the trees. But there's the top right there. And you can see how dark in color those are. So the bottom, I had these on some paper plates and they kind of stuck. I did find out if you use wax paper, it helps out a lot where the prints will not stick to the paper or paper plates that you have them drying on. So that right there. Now, I will tell you this. If you're 3D printing stuff and then painting it, don't get in the habit of putting it in the straight sunlight. Now, this is just filament, but I noticed when, especially in the summertime when I was painting stuff, I'd put it out in the sun to dry, and it would cause some damage to the actual print itself. So we got this tree right here. Got this size right here. And you can have them just kind of set on the side. Now, they're mainly tree trunks, but you know, if you're getting close into some pictures and such, you know, it doesn't really matter. So that's what you're kind of aiming for, is just close-up shots of someone in the tree line. So here's another darker color one. I wish I had better light to show you all, but I do not. The texture on these are very cool. I like them a lot. He really does well on designing 3D prints. These really turned out well. And I've thought about, you can see where the wash is on some of these, where they went into the recesses a lot better on this one, because this is that light nutmeg. But I've also thought about taking a white or a very faint gray and kind of just hitting a couple spots. But I'm going to do that down the road because I don't want to ruin these. Trying that, because I was looking at some trees in my yard and you could tell there's some white highlights to some portions of the tree. And the next thing I want to try is putting some moss in different spots using some Mod Podge. But I've never tried that before. So I guess I could just put the Mod Podge down, sprinkle the moss, and then once it dries, take a little bit of a diluted Mod Podge and just kind of seal it on there. But if anybody's got any advice on that, that would be great. But these turned out really well. I really like how I went back over this nutmeg with the nutmeg. So you have that right there. That's the top of it. It's just so cool how the designs are like that. So on his Patreon, he's got like the Rebel Princess Leia with a couple of Ewoks setting in a forest. And one of the trees is down and they're using it as seats. But you can see the base color is more of that dark color, because that's where I was holding them. And then I would just take the nutmeg and just kind of glide it over it, because again, I wanted to still retain that dark color to it. And this one right here. These really turned out really well. We got old Buzzard showing you how they're cut. And again, if you're doing some like photography and you just got some stuff right there, you got Buzzard over here getting ready to cut some stuff down and you want to do some pictures. Let me see if I can do the focus while I'm doing this. There we go. So it'll work great for action figures or setting up some dios on your shelf. But yeah, definitely check out Landspeeder Luke's Patreon account and see what he's got going on. The next video I'm going to upload in the next day or so is I finished painting the weapon arsenal set that I got from Landspeeder Luke, and I'll be showing that off in the next video. But yeah, again, definitely happy how these turned out. Hope you like. Please let me know if you're into 3D printing or anything of that nature. And again, if you have any suggestions on the moss and how to seal the moss where it won't just flake off after I glue it on there, that'd be great. Hope you enjoyed the vid. Please like, subscribe, and I hope this information helps you somehow. All right, thanks.